The evening wind slid across the dusty streets of Red Mesa as the saloon lanterns flickered alive like restless spirits waking for the night. The kind of night where music, whiskey, and broken promises all mixed together under one roof. Inside the Frontier pub, the air smelled of wood smoke, spilled ale, and the kind of tension that sparks before lightning hits dry land. Men played cards, boots scraped wood floors, and laughter bounced like stray bullets off the rafters, but everything went still the minute she walked in. Elena Marrow, known across 3 counties for her clever tongue and a beauty wrapped in equal parts danger and grace, pushed through the batwing doors wearing a look that said she'd made up her mind about something big, something irreversible. The women in town whispered she carried heartbreak like others carried, pistols always loaded, but tonight she was different. Tonight her fire had a purpose. At the corner table sat rancher Cade Hawthorne, the kind of man whose silence spoke louder than other men's fists. Broad-shouldered, dust on his boots, jaw squared with years of holding together a ranch and a life that kept trying to fall apart. Cade lifted his gaze the moment she stepped inside. Their eyes locked like 2 sparks meeting at the edge of dry brush, and everything around them faded: music, voices, even the weight of their own pasts. Elena crossed the room with the confidence of a woman who had finally decided to stop running from the truth, the one truth she'd buried for years. Cade Hawthorne was the only man she'd ever wanted, and the only one she feared losing. When she reached his table, the card players went silent. Sensing a storm they didn't want to be caught in, Cade leaned back, his voice rough like gravel warmed by the sun. "You look like a woman with trouble on her mind." Elena leaned forward, placing one hand on the table, the firelight catching the gold flecks in her eyes. "Not trouble," she whispered. "A choice." Cade frowned, confused, until she pulled a single playing card from her pocket, the Queen of Hearts, and set it in front of him. Conversations in the pub died instantly. Elena's voice was soft, but steady as iron. "I'm the card you'll boldly play tonight." "Cade." The room held its breath. Cade's chest tightened, because the last time she'd spoken with such certainty was years ago, the night she left him for a future she never found. He studied her, the pain and longing mixing in his gaze. "Why now?" he asked, voice thick. Elena swallowed hard, her guard finally falling away. "Because I'm done pretending I don't belong to you. And because I heard Bishop Riker plans to challenge you for the North Waterline tomorrow. If he wins, your ranch dies. If you lose, you die, Cade. I won't let you fight alone. I won't let him take anything else from you." Cade shook his head, standing slowly, stepping into her space so close the whole room felt the pull. "I can't risk you," he murmured. Elena lifted his collar and whispered back, "You already have. Every day I spent away from you." The card, the Queen of Hearts, lay between them like a promise and a dare. Cade took her hand, rough thumb brushing her skin with a tenderness that melted the distance of years. "If I play this card," he said low, "you're mine again. No running." Her lips parted. "I stopped running the moment I walked through those doors." The crowd exploded. Back into chatter, music resumed, and whiskey glasses clinked, but Cade and Elena barely heard it. With the card between them, with their past hanging by a thread and their future tied to one dangerous dawn ahead, they stood in that dimly lit pub knowing tonight would change everything. And as Cade pulled her closer, her head resting against his chest for the first time in years, she whispered, "Cade, before sunrise I need to tell you the real reason I came back. It's bigger than Riker, bigger than us." Cade held her tighter, heart pounding as he realized the fire in her eyes wasn't just love returning. It was fear of something darker, something she hadn't yet spoken into the night. And Red Mesa, for all its noise, suddenly felt too quiet. Dawn crept over Red Mesa with the heavy stillness of a held breath. The sky washed gold and red as if the earth itself knew blood or destiny would be spilled before the sun reached its peak. Cade and Elena rode out from town in silence, the horizon brightening behind them, while the weight of unspoken truths pressed between them like a second shadow. Cade's ranch spread across the valley like a promise worth fighting for. Rolling fields, weather-scarred fences, and the last waterline feeding life into his cattle and land. But today it wasn't the land he feared losing, it was Elena, riding beside him with a look that said she was hiding something sharp enough to wound them both. When they reached the ridge overlooking the waterline, Bishop Riker and his men were already waiting. their silhouettes black against the rising sun. Riker, slick smile, polished boots, a man who'd never done an honest day's work yet built an empire, off the sweat of others, lifted his hat mockingly. "Hawthorne," he drawled, "didn't expect you to show with such pretty company." Cade ignored him, but Elena's fingers tightened on the reins. Riker's eyes gleamed with recognition, and Cade felt a chill slice through his spine. "Well, well," Riker sneered. "If it isn't my runaway little debt." Cade's blood roared. "What debt?" Elena's voice trembled. "Cade, I was going to tell you." Riker laughed, stepping forward. "She signed a contract with me last winter. Took money to help her sick brother. Promised to work it off. Then she disappeared. That makes her mine until it's paid." Cade stepped in front of Elena. Fury etched across his face. "She is not yours," Riker smirked. "Then pay her debt." Cade snapped. "Name your price." Riker's gaze flicked to the land behind him, the waterline. "Your ranch," gasps escaped Cade's men. Elena's face,